Okay, I pasted the knowledge article links into the chat.
Thank you very much, Debashree. My name is Doug Lyon. I'm from the ServiceNow development / administration group here within OTEC. And what we're going to be doing over about the next hour or so is giving folks a little tour of how things have changed in the new UI between our existing production instance and the upcoming San Diego release. A reminder, when you come into work on the 11th, next Monday, this will go into effect. Our maintenance window notification will go out probably today or tomorrow, but that will be done in the early hours of Monday morning. So just to kind of give folks a heads up on that. So what you're looking at right here, this is the test instance. And again, that URL, https://test-support.oh-tech.org. Feel free to join me and kind of poke around. And I'm going to be flipping back and forth between our production instance, which is right here, and the test instance, which has already been upgraded to San Diego, just so folks get an idea of what occurs.
Now, Doug, I'm trying to log into test using the same credentials as I just used to log into production, and it's not working.
I will look into that, Dave.
Okay, we don't have to derail this tutorial for that.
Yep.
I just, yep.
So I'm going to log on to prod here real quick. This should be nothing new to any of us. We got the navigation page or pane over on the left. It's going to open up to, whatever your last ITIL homepage was. No big surprises there. I'm on the test instance now, and I'm going to go ahead and log in there using the same credentials. There aren't any different credentials. And the first time that you log on to the test instance, what you will see is going to depend upon what you had last done on prod. So if you had gone to a home page, and I'm going to show you. Then what I'm showing you here, this is my ITIL page. It's the home page from the production site that I've got. And what you'll see when you first open this should look semi-familiar, a little bit different. The biggest difference that you'll notice is ServiceNow has moved all the navigation up here. And you can get to it by simply clicking on all. If you want to pin that navigation over to the left pane, you can do that by clicking on the little pin. You can unpin it the same way. While I'm here, let me go ahead and real quickly just kind of go over the top here. So these three items, all favorites, history, these are the same exact navigation items that were located here. All applications, your favorite applications, and your history. All they've done is relocated these same items up into the menu space here. Okay, they're up here. Next thing that they have done is the breadcrumbs, or where you are now, are a little bit different. they'll always show in this little pill right here. And one of the things that's different now, if any of you had taken advantage of like favorites in past iterations of ServiceNow, you know that at times you had to go and click on some goofy things to make something a favorite. Now, at any point while you're on the platform itself, if you simply click that star, that will create a favorite on wherever you are at the point in time that you are. The search here, this is still the global search. So if you want to look for knowledge bases, incidents, changes, tasks, whatever, that is still the place to do that. They're in that global search area. The next couple icons, depending upon what your role is, you will see different things here. Most of you will not see this application scope. This is for developers only. The next one here, you can show help. Whatever page you are on within the instance, you can go and click on that and get help on that particular area if there is help available for that. Next down here in line are the notifications. And you can see right now, I don't have any active notifications. And then if I come down here to my profile, I can take a look at my profile. Reminder, generally you cannot change this information. This stuff just shows different pieces of data that we already have collected from LDAP or things like that. And the rest of this, it doesn't really apply that much. So let me take a minute here real quick and talk about this transition from home pages to dashboards. What we're seeing here right now, this is a dashboard. You can tell that it's a dashboard because what we're seeing right here is a dashboard's overview. And if I click on that, this basically takes me to an area where I can go to different dashboards that I either may have recently visited. In this case, if I go to the next tab down, these are dashboards that I own. This next link down here are dashboards that have been shared with me. And again, depending upon what your role is within ServiceNow, these are going to be very different. You are not going to see the same dashboards that I see, and you shouldn't expect to see, like if you look at like yourself and somebody in another group, they're going to look a lot different. And so what I would suggest when you get to the point where you're using dashboards, you're probably going to spend the majority of your time in these first three. Recents are going to hold the recent dashboards that you have been to. Those dashboards that you own, these are dashboards that you own and either may share out with other people if you have that role. And then the last one here are dashboards that are shared with you. These are dashboards that other people have generated and have shared out with you. The other thing to keep in mind, go here. When you, excuse me, when you first log on, the indication that you are on an old homepage is this pull down menu. If you see that pull down menu, that means the last thing that you were on before we upgraded prod was a homepage. And this should not be anything new or shocking to folks. Kind of a reminder that everything above this dashed line, these are personalized home pages that you have created for yourself. All of the home pages underneath that are old default home pages. And my recommendation for you is before the end of this week, if you can go to whatever homepage that you normally use, and let me find one that I have not converted yet. Okay. So this particular homepage I have not converted yet, and I know that because I don't see the button here. Open up the dashboard or the dashboard version. On any one of your home pages that you want to convert to a dashboard, the way you can go about that is simply come over here to this cog, which is your homepage setting. If you click on that, you can create a dashboard version. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this. And at this point, I'm going to get a prompt. It wants to know if I want to create a new dashboard or if I want to add this to an existing dashboard. And at this point, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new dashboard. All right. So I'm just going to create a new independent dashboard. I click on the create button. I get a little notification here to the dashboard version of the 2022-0208 ITIL homepage. Now know that I'm on a dashboard because there's my little indication of I am in a dashboard now, and I can go here and take a look at other dashboards that I own. When this initially opens up, if you have the appropriate permissions, you'll also see this share area over here. And if you want to close that, you can just go ahead and close that. So before I go any further, let me ask a couple questions to kind of get a feel for the audience. Have folks now been able to log in to the test instance? Anyone not been able to log into the test instance?
I wasn't, but that could be user error.
Yeah, they're the same credentials. It's the same credentials that you would use to log into your laptop. It's just your OTEC LDAP credentials. Are you not in yet, Dave?
I am not. I'm in the production instance,
Okay.
and I can't get into the test instance.
Okay.
I checked in the test instance, and Dave, you are showing as an active user, so you should be able to log in with the same credentials. Sometimes the accounts are locked out, and I just verified it isn't, so that shouldn't be a problem.
I got in with no problem.
Oh, I got in now.
Okay.
I'm in.
Right.
I think.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
I'm in.
All right. Before I go any further, does anyone have any questions about creating dashboards or understanding, am I on a homepage or am I on a dashboard? Is that all pretty cleared up, I hope? Okay. I will let folks know. I'm going to go to my dashboards here. I'm going to go to, this is a dashboard that I've had on prod for a while now.
And Doug, the thing I've noticed with the dashboard that came up, which is a set of management KPIs that Brian put together about our stuff, is that it doesn't seem to be up to date.
Well, we're on the test instance here, Dave.
Yeah,
So this data is anywhere from, I think this data is probably about 3-ish months old.
yeah, it looks like from maybe early May.
Yeah.
Okay,
We don't keep the dev and the test instances completely up to date, and we generally clone quarterly. So yeah, if you're seeing old data, that's
okay,
nothing
just
to
wanted to
concern
double
about.
check.
Yep. So one of the things that I really like about the new dashboards, I can create dashboards, manage, manipulate them as I see fit for the work that I do. So in my case, these first couple pages, these are just like generic work that my desktop group had been doing. So this my ITIL homepage, this one should look fairly familiar to all of you. And this is basically where my group does their bread and butter. I do want to let everyone know one of the things that ServiceNow has done in the new interface as far as dashboards go, they call it progressive display. I think I might have made that up just now. But basically what it does, when you open any new page in ServiceNow, real estate and the items that you see immediately on the page at that moment in time, that is what ServiceNow will begin rendering immediately. And then, you see here in my group's work how it's not rendered yet. As you scroll down the page, it will render any new reports, widgets, or things like that that you might have on a home page. So it will do you a big favor if, when you first land on a page, if you find that you have to go down to do something down here and you're like, man, this is taking a long time to render, it's because you're asking ServiceNow to render everything all at once. So you either need to move your work around so that, if that you come in and my group's work is that piece of work that you always look at first, maybe you simply want to move that to the top of this particular dashboard rather than just looking at like your group of work at the top. And while we're talking about manipulating those dashboards and reports and things like that, let me go ahead and show you how to do that right now. So here I am on my OHT desktop dashboard. If I click on the configuration icon over here in the right-hand corner, now you'll note I can come in here and I can move things around. If I want to move this up, I just drag that up and then I let go. What that does, that moves my group's work to the top. And now my work is at the bottom. And you can move these left and right wherever you want, however you want to manipulate it. The other things that you can do while you're configuring, if you want to move these dashboards around, you can move them around and say, yeah, I want this up here rather than the back. You can rename items by simply clicking on a tab and then
I'm missing. Where do you find OHT desktop?
again, ServiceNow is a role-based application.
Oh,
You
okay.
won't see OHT desktop because that's
I'm
not
not in a
normally
desktop group. Yeah,
something
okay.
that you do. But when you're on any dashboard, these same concepts that I'm showing, like, how to manipulate, how to change the dashboards, you can do that with your own dashboards.
Okay. So
Okay.
every dashboard has an ITIL homepage tab on it? Is that, I'm not seeing that.
No. Every dashboard does not. And if you, do you mind, Dave? Can I impersonate you for a minute?
Oh, yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
You got the haircut for it.
And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to impersonate Dave for a second. Oh, okay. So you're on the OSC work.
Yeah.
And again, I hope that this kind of illustrates for folks, this would be appropriate for Dave. Dave doesn't do desktop work, so Dave, why would he want to see what the heck desktop is doing? So now what we're looking at is OSC work that Dave would be interested in. And trying to think here. So these should be fairly familiar, Dave, to you. I'm assuming, did you use this dashboard in the past? Have you used it?
Yes.
Okay. And so, they've got different items here around computer warranty data so that, they know who's going to be getting refreshed next and that sort of thing. The work requests from OSC. This is a dashboard where they're looking at items that OSC has requested other folks do for them and who's doing that work for them. As usual, anything that you see in ServiceNow, that data is live. So you can pretty much click on any of it. So if you want to take a look, and granted, we're on test, so this is older data, but as of sometime in May-ish, there were 18 items that had been created for OSC, and you can see who was working on those. You can take a look at, what those items were. It's always live. It's always up. You can go in, you can take a look, those sorts of things. So Dave, I'm going to end this impersonation and go back to being me. So does anyone have any questions about dashboards, how to manage them?
So for this dashboard, it seems that you have several tabs there, like active work, my ITIL homepage. But when I generate one from my current homepage, I only have one tab there. So it means I don't have several tabs. So how to do this?
Okay. Okay, that's a good one. So do you mind, can I impersonate you, Summer?
Sure.
All right. So a couple different things to note here because they're important. I'm going to unpin this first. And I'm going, because here's what happens. The first time that you go to a dashboard, by default, you will never be able to get back to a homepage. So if you come back here and you go homepage, ServiceNow is going to take you to the last dashboard you went to. So what we had to do, we developed a module so that, and I'm going to look here real quick, Summer. Which one of these was the most recent one you converted? Was it this classroom support, Summer?
No, Summer's homepage.
This one.
Mhm.
Okay. So this was your last homepage. Now, what we did, you'll note there's a link here to legacy homepage. That is the link, that is your path to get back to seeing your old homepages. So I'm going to go to the legacy homepage. We can tell now that we're in a homepage. And Summer, is there one of these that you want to add to that Summer's homepage?
Maybe
Or
L2 homepage. Yeah, this one.
okay,
Oh, I see. When I create, there is add to a dashboard option. When I try
yeah.
to, okay, I see.
And this one has already been converted, but let me see if it will allow me. Okay, so let me show you this trick.
Mhm.
You wanted to create one dashboard that had multiple home pages on it, like mine did. So if I come here and I click on this create dashboard version, instead of creating a new dashboard, I simply add it to an existing. And which was it, classroom support?
It's Summer's homepage.
Summer's homepage. So I select Summer's homepage, I say create, and now
I see.
we get the message there again, welcome to the dashboard version of Summer's homepage. We got that. Now we've got two tabs. And that's how you can kind of combine home pages um, to create one dashboard that has many different purposes. And I myself appreciate this. So I'm going to end this impersonation, Summer, and I'm going to go back to my desktop. And I think so. One of the big things in desktop are security remediations. We have enough of those, and that's a big enough chunk of work that we do that I just created, a dashboard that specifically shows me what we've got going on as far as compliance and things like that. Another area where we had multiple items going on, enough so that I felt I wanted to make a dashboard so that we can keep track of like our active IT asset onboardings, our offboardings. Down here in the bottom, I can take a look, graph over history by category of what kind of stuff are we doing, what kind of trends are we seeing. And then further on down the page, these are all of our on-off boardings for the last 12 months. So, and these are the kinds of things that, depending upon what you do, you can create, reports, dashboards, interactive dashboards, so that you can get a better view into the data and the resources that you're expending to do the work that you do for your end users. So dashboards, conversion of homepage to dashboards. Any more questions, comments? Okay. So what I wanted to do here real quick is, let me just get into a list. And you'll note, right now, yes, I'm in a list. These are lists that are displayed in the context of a widget or a report. This, when you click on these links, this is an actual true list. All right. And if I go over here, I'm going to go do the same thing. Just again, so you've got an idea of what is where.
Yeah, the list interface is what I'm normally used to. So this is a little a bit of a change.
Okay. All right. And so here we are on prod. None of this should be a surprise to any of you. If I go back over here, let me start to talk about, where are the controls for this? So first thing to note, on the very bottom, that is where you got your navigation pages. If you need to go, if you've got more than, 200 records or something like that, you need to, page from one to another. Now it's always visible, whereas on the old interface, it was up here, and then sometimes it was down here in the bottom. So that is where that navigation is now. Starting from the top here, and again, this is going to be based upon what your roles are. So depending upon what roles you have, you're going to see much different items up here than what everyone else is seeing, or myself, because I'm an admin. So I see a lot of stuff that you guys don't. But under here is where you'll find your filters. If you've saved filters and things like that, you can group by from up top also. This is where you can show or identify how many records you want to display on each page. So in this case, I have 100 rows per page. If I change this, you'll note I've got 41 records, right? So if I change this to 20 per page, now you'll see you've got pagination down here, and I'm looking at the first 20 records. I click that, it'll take me 21 to 40, and then there's the 41st record. And I can go back to the first. And you can change this. And obviously, the more items that you show on any one page, that does have a big determination in how quickly pages will render for you. If you're asking ServiceNow to render 100 or 1,000 rows per page, it's going to take it a little bit longer. If you have 20 to 50 rows, I generally stay around the 50 range. If I'm doing a lot of mass changes, like within the CMDB and things like that, sometimes I'll change it to 100. But just kind of a tip there. You can always come up and refresh that list whenever you want. All that does is tell ServiceNow, hey, I want you to refresh the contents of this. If we want to show and or hide the filter that's used, we simply click on the little icon up there for the filter. And this shows us now, these 41 items. This is the criteria that those 41 records met to be displayed. So if I change assign to assignment group, and I change it to like OHT desktop, and then I say run. Now we're suddenly looking at 397 records. We're looking at the first 50 records. So that is now where you go to show and or hide the filter criteria. I don't think, unless anyone else wants, I'm not going to go over this because this functionality is all exactly the same. If you wanted to add additional criteria to, make this smaller. You can simply, and or whatever that logic is that you want to use. Choose whatever the new field is. And at any point, if you want to get rid of criteria, you just hit the red X, the delete button, and that'll remove that particular criteria. Hide that again. Over here, I'll remind folks, this is still the same. The activity stream, what this is showing you is of all 397 items, this is the most recent activity that has occurred within those 397. And you can still over here make comments. That process is a little bit different now. So like if I wanted to make a comment on this, I click on the comment. Post that, that goes directly to that record. And you can see now the activity stream has changed because now the most recent item was my additional comment that I made into that record. If I want to make a work note, I can do that. And again, the nice thing about this is the fact that you don't have to go directly into the record. You can take a look at what's going on within your groups. In this case, the desktop support groups area, as far as, maybe an end user had made a comment in, or one of the technicians had made a comment about something that they were trying or maybe needed help with, that sort of thing. Right next to that, this is where we can go to personalize these list columns. Let's say there was a column that you didn't want to, or you did want to see, or you didn't want to see. You can go here and wait a minute. Yeah, you won't have that. If you want to change columns, you're going to come here and you can change the duration. If you want to move duration next to assignment group, over here you can do it. If you want to add the close by column, you can add it. Say okay. The screen will re-render, and now you've got your duration over here. Knew it was closed by, that sort of thing. You can still do all of your different groupings and sortings. Like if you wanted to sort things by category, if you simply click on it, now we are sorting by category. If I click category again, we'll sort now in the opposite direction. ServiceNow sorts alphabetically and numerically, depending upon what kind of field you're dealing with. You can still do right click and group by whatever column you would like. So if I group by category, basically you're still taking a look at those same 571 records, but they've been condensed into 14 different groups. These are all the account maintenance items. And you can open and close them, simply by opening and closing with the little triangle. These are the conference support. These are the configure modify. These are the desktop support. So if you want to ungroup, you can just click on ungroup. That'll take you right back into this. You still got the ability to, if you want to filter out or only see certain things, let's say we only wanted to see the items in a category of software. I can right click and say, just show me these. What that does, that modifies, added this category of software. put in the filter. Now I'm back to my original list. Any questions on lists? What got moved to where? How to do what? Anything along those lines? Debistry, did I forget anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered all of them.
Okay, all right. Next thing I'm going to show is a form and how things have changed there. In this case, I'm just going to use an incident. All of the interactions and interplays between company, caller, category, subcategory, business service, assignment group, assigned to, all of those functionalities still exist and are in play. Just to remind folks, if you aren't exactly sure what I'm talking about. So if desktop support is identified as the assignment group, the only people that'll show up are people who are in the desktop support group. There are field dependencies. So if I put in here myself, the only assignment groups that'll show up are groups that I am associated with. So it works both ways. And we've got several of these that are at play. I think the one that most folks know about is the play between category, subcategory, business service, and the assignment groups. Depending upon what you select and what combination of items you have, there will be different groups that show up under the assignment group. Underneath here, you've got notes, you've got related records, variables. If this incident was generated based upon a catalog item, it would show up here. Attachments, and then down below, you've got affected CIs, task SLAs, reminders, other catalog tasks and requests that might be associated with this, that kind of thing. Any questions around the form itself?
You have one related search results. What that?
I'm gonna get there, Summer. That is some new functionality, but before I get into that, any questions anyone has on the form itself? Everyone still recognizes the forms go. So the first item that occurred is going to be down here at the bottom. The most recent items that have occurred are up top. So you have to read from the bottom up. If you want to get the full view, you've still got the ability to filter what kind of things you want to see there in that activity stream. So again, you got watch list, ITIL watch list. Can open and close these. This interplay is still at play if you like. Any questions on the form itself and functionality? All right. Now we're going to talk about some, and I'm excited about this stuff. You may have heard us talk about some new functionality that's being introduced with the San Diego released. It's called contextual search. Basically, the way that contextual search works, it works on a two-pronged approach. It helps technicians who are trying to provide service to their end users, providing this related search results functionality right here. And basically what's happening is ServiceNow is looking at this short description, and it's going out and it is searching all of our knowledge base articles that you have access to, and it's searching existing catalog items. So we've got something here where a laptop airplane mode only turns on randomly. And so these are the items that ServiceNow believes is the closest match to any of those. Just to show you how the functionality works, if you thought, well, maybe this Polycom Trio 8500 might help. If you click on that, it doesn't take you off of the record, but what it does, it shows you the contents of that particular knowledge base article and what you can do. And one of the things that we're really advocating and telling people to please start using, because it provides feedback to the system and the authors that produce knowledge base articles so that they can understand that the knowledge base article that they created either helped or didn't help. And I'm going to kind of expand on that a little bit more. But if you're in here and you're like, oh yeah, hey, this is exactly what I was looking for. This answers the end user's question. I'm going to ask you to click on the This Help button. And the next part of the functionality here is attach this to the incident. So if I click this, what that does, closes the knowledge base article. But you'll notice now there's this snippet of code. This is a link that your end user can use to get to that knowledge base. And what I'm going to recommend is that since this is an additional comment, and I know that these go out, these are intended to go out to end users. Who was this for? So now I'm going to and hopefully you can all spell better than me. So I'm going to click on post, just so you get an idea for what goes out. All right. So Emily is going to receive an email. It says this, it has a link to this particular KB article. Now, it's important to note at this point in time. So for this to really assist an end user, the knowledge base that you found the article has got to be available to the public, or they have to be able to log into ServiceNow. So one of those two things have to be available for you, for this to really assist them. So does that make sense for folks? Do you understand what we're saying here?
Yep.
Okay.
So how can I find whether this article is public or not? Because our end users won't be able to log into ServiceNow.
Right now they can't.
They cannot.
We got a project in the fall. I'm hoping we're going to get there. But anyway, so I'm going to real quick take a look at this article. And depending upon, again, what your privileges are within ServiceNow, I'm going to click on the edit button. So this one has been published. Oh, I can't see because I got to check the article out. Sorry. All right. So I'm looking. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, Summer. There's a checkbox that we may not be displaying or simply isn't displayed based on where I am right now. Look down here maybe. Or is it available? So one of the things that it's not going to work because I am logged in. Yeah, and so if this was available, Summer, this is what your end users would see. They wouldn't see basically the interface around this. I believe we'll have to get back. We're going to have to do some digging, and we'll get back to you on that one. That's a good question, though, Summer. But the other thing that we're asking both our technicians and our end users that come in contact with these knowledge base articles, if you can start to get into the practice of identifying, hey, was this particular article good? If it was, give us a star rating. Like not even a second, right? And then if you really want to assist the end user, you can let them know whether this particular KB article was useful, again, by just simply clicking yes, or, if it was useful, or if you think it could have been expanded, or maybe ask them to include a screenshot of a particular concept or something like that. You can provide those feedback here. Whatever that feedback might be, because we're in a situation right now where we've got a large number of knowledge base articles, and we have asked authors to kind of go back and take a look at that, because this functionality, the contextual search, is only going to be as good or as useful as the knowledge articles are that are in the system. And I would also note that, particularly for you guys, Summer, there you can set up like internal knowledge base articles so that when you're working an incident or when you're working a service request, if you have, here are the steps that have to be taken to accomplish this kind of thing, if you put those together in a knowledge base article, that information will get indexed, it'll be searchable. So the next time one of those come into the system, and like you saw when I was on the incident and I went to the related search, that article will pop and it'll provide information for that end user or for that technician to assist them in resolving that item. Does that make sense to everybody? One of the other things that we did probably 6 to 8 months ago, we created this new functionality around creating knowledge articles anywhere, anytime. You all can do that. Members of your staff can do that. So I'm just going to go home real quick here. The other thing that I wanted to show you, because I initially said that the contextual search worked in kind of a two-pronged approach. The other way that it works, if I go to the service catalog, right? Or I go to an incident, it doesn't matter. When you create a new one, so let's say I'm going to create a new incident because I'm not sure exactly what I need to do. But let's say I need to get Visio installed on my own IT asset. It's happening. I don't know if you watched while I was typing. ServiceNow was providing links to knowledge base articles and was also providing links to specific service catalog items that already exist to deal with that specific item. So in this case, desktop support already has an item out there and available to install a desktop software. So that will direct them over to that item, and it will take them to the correct item. So let's see, do I see Visio? Don't see Visio in the pull down. So I'll just go through the normal item, and now they're not, you as a support group aren't dealing with just random incidents that aren't incidents or random service requests that really are incidents. It assists in that kind of stuff. And the other payoff or payback for this, if I go back in here and I say, I do the same thing. I can find also different knowledge articles in here, and hopefully, if any of these are good or apply, I can, as an end user, read that, oh, to do this, all I need to do is follow these steps. And then they can go ahead and do that. So that is the other prong on how contextual search, in theory, is going to help us. Any questions on that? Oh, I did want to, real quick, the only caveat to that, if you are on, let me get to a task here real quick. If you're working in task or a service request, and I'm down here, and let's say, yeah, see, like this one's very appropriate. We get these all the time. Your IT asset back into McAfee compliance. If I go there, I preview it. Oh yeah, this is exactly what they need to do. I'm gonna, this helped, attach to the catalog task. Now, remember, service catalogs are a little bit different. You'll note this time the details of how to check my IT asset in McAfee have been added to the description field. So that snippet of code is right here. So you have to cut that, go down here. Who is this for? Me. Paste it back in there. And I can save, I can post, whichever. And we can see again, here was that link to the article that went out in the email. So slightly different as far as getting that link into the service requests, but not terribly difficult. Any questions on contextual search? All right. At this point, I'm about 2 minutes over. If anyone has any additional questions, comments, concerns, I can hang out as long as you need. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of the day. I hope that you found this information to be helpful. Just let me know.
Thanks, Doug.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording.